Hi there, it's Paul in Perth here again, and today I want to talk about a problem that a lot of BL Mazda 3 owners are having right now, which is that you're driving down the street, you're loving the world, everything's great. There's no error messages on your dash, and then all of a sudden you start to see this. Come on inside. You're driving along, I'll start the car up just so that you've got no other messages whatsoever. You're driving along, and then all of a sudden you see this. And you can see that the door open light is coming on and off. And in your center console, if you look up here, depending on which trim level, you either start to see that, which is a red one, or if I go to a different car, I'll show you a different one. Some other trim levels, you'll see that in the infotainment area, the writing is in silver rather than orange. And of course, another sign that you'll see that the car thinks your door is opening and closing is that if you've got the interior light set to activate when the door is open, the interior light will flash on and off as well. So what I'm going to do in the next scene is I'm going to set up a rig in this car, and I'm going to show you how your car detects what it thinks is when the door is shut, what goes wrong to make it show open when it's actually closed, and what you can do to fix it. Okay, so what I've done is I've set up a test rig, as you can see here, and I've got a door wiring loom, and I've got a door lock actuator, and I've put a latch in the door latch. And if you look here, you'll notice as far as the car is concerned, the door is closed. The door open light is not on. So just go back Caroline. Now, just to show you how this works, that is unlocked, that is locked. And if you're in the unlocked position and you want to open the door, you would pull on this lever, and actually we can actually do it. You'll see that that's unlocked and it'll pop the door open. And remember, when you close the door, you can actually hear it go click, click, or sometimes you've closed it, but you have to close it harder. Listen to this when I put it in. You'll hear 2 clicks. Hear that? That's when you've only got the 1 click, that's where you've grabbed the latch hook, but you haven't got it all the way in, okay? So that's what's going on. And if we look up here, if I go into the unlock position and open the door, you can see that now the car is detecting the fact that the door is not locked. Now, I must admit, when I first came across this issue, I thought that what was probably happening for the car to detect that the door was closed was that the door would detect an earth circuit being completed by the striker hitting the latch hook. It turns out that's absolutely not correct. As you can see, without completing the earth hook, I am able to get the car to think the door is shut without completing an earth on that. So it's not that completes the circuit. So just to show you how these work on the inside, what I'll do is I'll swap from this one that is complete to one that I've partially disassembled so you can see how it actually functions. Now, the key to understanding how it detects the door being closed and what the problem is understanding this area here. So at the moment, these 2 tracks here are not being bridged. So you can see that track is only partial and that track is complete. And when you go into the door locked position, I don't know if I can do it manually, but anyway, that whole thing will swing forward. Now, position yourself so that you can see the door open or close light. And let me show you what happens when I bridge those 2 tracks. Can you see there that it shows door closed when they're bridged, door open when they're not bridged, okay? So understanding that is the key to understanding the problem. So just pull back to me. So what happens is, and what is causing this problem in these BLs is that they're all over 10 years old now. And if you look, you can see that the grease has gotten quite old and dry. And the other thing is the armature on the back of this is just 2 little metal prongs. And over time, those metal prongs, instead of being bent down like down like that, are bent up because people have been slamming the doors or they've just been using it. So the basis of fixing this is actually just to pull those prongs down, use a Q-tip to take off the old grease, put on new grease, and then put it back together. So now you're going to be wondering, yeah, Paul, but how do I get this out of the car and how do I disassemble it? And let's cover the first part of this now, which is that I'm going to refer you in the description to a different video I made where I disassemble a door. The one thing I want to point out to you, if you can just back off to there, the one thing I want to point out to you is when you remove the door lock actuator, these 3 screws are Loctited in. You're going to think that what you should do is just put a Phillips head screwdriver and turn them. And I guarantee you that if you do that, you will A, not get them out, and B, you'll round them and destroy them. What you need to do is get a Phillips head screwdriver, put it into the screw head, and smack it really hard with a hammer to jar the threads. And you need to do it at least 6 or 7 times and quite hard, and then you'll find that they actually turn by hand to get it out. The rest of that is in the video I'm going to put in the description to show you how to get the door lock actuator out. Now, the next bit of this video is going to be on the bench, where I show you how to open up this so that you can see it like this. Okay, so here we are at the workbench, and what we're going to do is we're going to take this apart so that I can demonstrate how you're going to fix it. All right, so the first thing is, you'll notice that there are 4 screws. For the first part of this, I only want you to remove 2 of those screws, which are the 2 that are on this cover here. So we're going to remove that one and this one. And then we're going to flip the case open. And you'll probably need a little pick or something to get underneath one of the corners. Actually, I found it easy to get under that bit there and bend it up, and it'll come off. And when you reflect it aside, that's what you'll see. And there are your 2 connectors. Now, you don't need to remember which goes where because they have different types of end connectors. You'll notice this one here has got a barbell end. So if you rotate it around to the right position and lift it out, the little bugger should just come out as easy as you like, which it isn't, but let's, oh, good Lord. Okay, like that. And this one here is even easier. You just lift it vertical, wiggle it around, lift it up. It's got that. So obviously the 2 connectors are different, so you're not going to get it wrong. You don't have to remember which one goes where. So now you're at this point here. Then you're going to remove the two remaining screws. Rightio. Now for the next step, let's get these 2 out. For the next step, there's various ways you can try. I'm just going to tell you the way I got it to work, but you need to somehow get this case cracked open. What I did was I used a heat gun and I heated up the seam of the door lock actuator all the way around. And pro tip, do it from this side, because if you do it from this side, the heat is going to melt that foam really, really quickly. So heat it up from this side. And I found that if I started on that corner there with the plastic hot and I grabbed a box cutter, I was able to get the box cutter into the groove. You can see that in the picture, can you? Mm-hmm. Okay. And you can then run it along, run it down, run it all the way around. My advice to you is do it hot. If you try and do it cold, you're going to crack the case, okay? You need to heat it up and use something like a box cutter to get in. And when you do that, you'll find that you are able to remove that like that. Now, there's a fair chance that a couple of things are going to ping off. So I'm going to put some photos of this at the end of this video, because that's how it all should be. But the first time I ever took it off, that went flying and that went flying. So you need to know where they sit. Now, as I showed you earlier, the issue lies around these 2 contacts here. So what you need to do is remove the little armature, bend them down more so that they're going to make a stronger contact with the rails, and then get a Q-tip and clean them up. Now, I don't have a Q-tip with me right now, so let's just take a break while I get a Q-tip. Okay, so I've gone to the bathroom and I've got myself a Q-tip. So what we need to do, if you come down and look here, is we need to clean up these tracks. We need to get rid of all that old dried up grease that's on there. So just clean that up. And then if you can find a bit of grease, clean grease from somewhere else, like I can see I've got a ton of clean grease there. See that bit there? And then put some clean grease on. Just a little bit. Don't overdo it because you don't want to recreate the problem. But if just make sure there's a little bit of grease on there, then that'll be good. So put your armature with those prongs bent down further back on. Put that into there. Put that into there so it's in the right position. And then basically just put it back together. So you're going to put that onto there. You're then going to reconnect the two cables onto there and there. And you're going to reinstall it in your car. And what you're going to find is that light goes away. So that's the problem. That's how to fix it. And yeah, I hope that's helped. Of course, you do have the option of buying a new part from Mazda if you feel more comfortable with that, or replacing the part with a second-hand one from a wrecker. My personal preference is to repair it because then you know you're understanding how it works and you're properly fixing it. And, you know, it's always good to have your destiny in your own hands so that you know how it works. So that's probably about it. So thank you very much from Paul in Perth. I hope you found this interesting. If this has helped you, please write down in the comments below and tell me what country you're from and how you went with the job and all of that. I'd love to hear from you. And finally, I want to say a big thank you to Kevin Stepinovic of the Mazda 3 Australia Facebook group. Without his research on this topic, I would never have been able to make this video. Kevin, you're the guy that explained this to me, and I'm the guy that showed it to the world, but it couldn't have happened without you, Kev. Thanks a lot. See you later. And just as a postscript, if you would like to have one that I've reconditioned, then just write to me below and I'll send you my email address and we can correspond and I can repair or recondition one for you and send it to you for a very reasonable price. Thanks a lot. See you later. Bye.